I'm going to present you the classification of acute and complex elbow instability. The classification of acute elbow instability is important because after an elbow dislocation, a successful management can be achieved only understanding the specific injury pattern and the overall elbow instability. And treating properly the acute elbow instability is the best way to decrease the opportunity to treat a chronic instability that we have classified some years ago with the Italian Shoulder and Elbow Society. Acute elbow instability is classified in two groups, simple and complex forms. This first classification is important because simple and complex instabilities require different surgical treatment, different rehabilitation, and present different prognosis. Simple instability includes acute and traumatic dislocation or subluxation caused by an isolated soft tissue lesion. In most cases, only capsule and collateral ligaments are involved. In more severe cases, a detachment of the epicondylar tendons, lateral and/or medial, can also occur. Simple forms can be classified as posterior, anterior, and divergent. Most common in adults, the direction is nearly always posterior. The most known dislocation mechanism is the PLRI. By falling on the hand with the elbow extended, axial force combined with valgus and supination stress produce a circular lesion of the stabilizers. The lesion starts in the lateral collateral ligament, progressively involves the anterior and posterior capsule until it involves the medial collateral ligament, the Hori circle. The stage 1 presents a lesion of the LUCL with a temporary subluxation. The stage 2 presents lesion of the anterior and posterior capsule in addition to the lateral collateral ligament injury. The joint is dislocated with the trochlea pierced on the coronoid process. In the stage 3, the previous ligament and capsular lesions are combined sequentially with a progressive injury of the medial collateral ligament. The joint is completely dislocated. Based on the increasing severity of the medial collateral ligament involvement, stage 3 is further divided in stage 3A. Only the posterior portion of the MCL is involved, and stage 3B, the lesion involves the posterior and anterior band of the MCL, resulting in posterolateral and also varus valgus instability. Stage 3C, we have a complete stripping of all soft tissues, ligaments, capsule, and tendons from the distal humerus, producing an instability that is hard to control through forearm rotation or using a cast or a brace. More recently, as has been described in the past, several authors have postulated that in some cases the posterior dislocation mechanism might occur in the opposite direction, from medial to lateral, by axial compression and valgus stress. The second group are the complex acute instabilities, also known as acute fracture dislocations. They are an heterogeneous group of acute and traumatic lesions characterized by elbow joint dislocation that include an associated fracture in addition to disruption of the soft tissue stabilizers. Three main groups of fractures make up the so-called complex elbow instability, as described by Morey. The olecranon fracture dislocation. In this group are included the anterior transolecranon fracture dislocation, in which, as a result of direct trauma on the proximal ulna with the flexed elbow, the trochlea of the distal humerus appears to have fractured through the olecranon process has the forearm displaced anteriorly. The radial head is displaced anteriorly relative to the capitellum, and the radio-ulnar relationship is preserved. Based on the level of comminution of the greater sigmoid notch of the coronoid and of the radial head, the anterior transolecranon fracture dislocation can be divided into simple and complex. Terrible triad. This lesion is characterized by dislocation or subluxation of the elbow, which occurs by fracture of the radial head and of the coronoid process and lesion of the lateral collateral ligament. Terrible triads include a wide spectrum of lesions. Based on global elbow instability that is established by size and location of the radial head and the coronoid fractures, in addition to the associated soft tissue lesions, the treatment option can vary from conservative treatment to repair of all the affected stabilizers up to additional stabilization with an external fixator. Fracture of the anteromedial portion of the coronoid process. These fractures dislocation are characterized by fracture of the anteromedial rim of the coronoid process and injury of the posterior band of MCL and of the lateral collateral ligament. The anteromedial coronoid fractures can be sometimes associated with radial head fractures and occur by a posteromedial rotatory instability mechanism. CT scan and an evaluation under anesthesia are critical to determine the overall instability and therefore to decide if surgery is required based on coronoid fracture pattern, sublime tubercle involvement, fragment size and dislocation, ulnohumeral joint reduction, and associated lesion. The treatment of each presented elbow instability injury patterns will be specifically presented by the next speakers. Thank you for your attention.